Hey guys, so welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Abigail and I make videos about special needs and health issues and feeding tubes. I am hooked up to my feeding tube right now, to my feeds. I have a GJ tube. If you don't know, the G is for venting, aka getting sick out of, and the J tube is for my feedings. If you don't know why I'm on a feeding tube, I've had a lot of health issues from a birth defect I was born with, and I've talked about it in different videos that I've posted before. But tonight I want to talk about the good and the hard about going places while on a feeding tube. When I first got my feeding tube, I think it was still April. Yeah. It was in April, and we first got told that I was going to be on it 18 hours a day. And then later, when we got my paperwork from the company that brought my formula, it said 24 hours. So I am on it 24 hours a day. Unless I'm changing clothes or taking a shower, basically. Also, don't mind these lights. These are my bedtime lights. I have it kind of a little bit like dark enough in here to sleep, but a little bit light also, because with being on a feeding tube, my dad comes in here in the middle of the night to flush my tube or put water through my tube to clean it, and I like to make sure that there's enough light where people can see what they're doing if one of my parents comes and flushes my tube for me. But anyway, today I went to church. It's Sunday. I decided, well, let me tell you about two different struggles I've had. On Saturdays, our church has prayer meeting, and then singing practice. I decided on Saturday that I wanted to start singing again, but I was going to take it very slow. Like, I was going to sing, but then like after I got to church, I was going to sit down for prayer and sit down for, like Sunday school and different things, like going up to that point. That way I'm like not overly working myself or not overdoing it. And so yesterday I went to singing practice and prayer meeting, and I felt like, I'm sore, but like I felt like, oh, I got this or whatever. Well, also like my feeding tube, I feel like it's kind of noticeable because I put it in a backpack when I'm not at home, and I wear it because I'm on it 24 hours a day. And so I have this big backpack, and I also have this little cord coming out of my backpack because of me being hooked up to a feeding tube. So I feel like it's kind of like if you know that I was on a feeding tube, it would be noticeable. And a lot of our church people already knew in advance that I was getting a feeding tube, so it's not like a big shock or anything. But this is the first time I've been back singing since surgery, and so it was like a really big deal. And yesterday at singing practice, we go over the songs on Saturday nights so that we kind of know what to expect for the service. And I was I was singing, and after we had finished, we were about to go home. See, we had normally there are certain people that come just for the prayer meeting part, but then the only people that really stay for the singing part are the singers and the musicians. Besides, one of my pastor's friends had came down to visit, and they were also down, so they stayed. He is a retired pastor, and this guy is, and after I got done singing, it was almost time to leave, and I felt this extreme pain on my left side, and I kind of started to panic because that's the side I had surgery on. And so my pastor was, I don't know where he was. He wasn't in the church. I went to the other guy that's I think he's the pastor of church. I'm not for sure. And I was like, "Hey, can I get prayer?" And he was like, "Yeah, let's go find the pastor." And so we went to go find so I went to go find our pastor, and we prayed together. And then we think that the reason why that happened, like the extreme pain, was because like whenever you move around and stuff, you're using your like stomach muscles, and I'm still very sore from surgery even though I'm doing a lot better. And the more you move around and stuff, the more, you're using your stomach muscles and different muscles that you don't think that you're using, when you normally, because a lot of times you don't have to think about like, oh, I'm using my stomach muscles right now to, do whatever. So I was in really bad pain, and I got prayer, and then went home and got ready for church, and well, like set out my church clothes and stuff. And then we figured that I had just kind of maybe overdid it yesterday, because Saturday morning I had a ladies meeting that morning, and then came home for a short time, and then went back for singing practice. So we think that I might have just kind of overdid it. But then today I was able to sing, which was good. Because it was, one of those services where like a bunch of people were praying and stuff, and so like a lot of our other praise singers left the stage to go pray with people, and thankfully I'm one of those singers that can lead a song. So that left my pastor's wife, me, and my dad still singing. So she would like, pick a song to sing, and I would kind of, sing a lead on it. And so I kind of like kept the music going, and we had a really good service. But it was one of those like type of services where it was like, everyone goes to the front, and before I would just, stand by the front. But there was like, the front was crowded with people, and I found like this small space at the altar, so I was like, well, I'll just kind of, bend down a little bit, it'll be fine. So I'm praying, and I'm like one of the last people at the front, and when I got up from the altar, I felt extreme pain on my left side. So I got up, and I went to the back to turn my pump back on, because I turned my feeding tube pump off for the singing part, like this morning when I was singing. I turned it off, and then turned it on during service, and during the preaching part of the service. and then turned it back off for prayer because I didn't want it to beep and it be distracting to people. So basically, long story short, I got up, went to the back, turned my pump on, and I was in really bad pain when I got home. But I was doing some thinking when I got home about everything I've been through, and with not just my health, but also with having to bring the pump everywhere, and it's not easy, and it's a difficult situation because on top of me bringing my pump and everything everywhere and wearing it all the time, it's just, it's a lot because like when you're healing from a surgery like this, like I'm still very sore, and it's like if I get up or down, it's painful. Like it doesn't, it's, I'm healed enough that it's okay for me to, get down a little bit. Like, like if I wanted to get down at the front or something and pray, it would be fine. It just hurts. But the thought came to me like, it's okay to struggle and to have a hard time. There's a lot of times where it's like really easy to, I guess, I don't know if you would really say like discount your struggle, but like you almost feel bad for like admitting that you're struggling, and then it's just, it's it's hard for other people that could help to know how to help you if you don't admit that you're struggling. And so I I posted on my update page on Facebook just something I was thinking about, and how that I'm very thankful that not just my church people, but my family has been very supportive in this situation. They have helped me a lot, not just with encouragement, but you know, letting me talk about what I'm going through, and checking on me, and making sure I'm okay if I have a hard moment and things like that. And it just, it really means a lot that, like, I know people care, but people go out of their way to help. And it's really sweet that like people like in our church just know what's going on, and you know know my situation, and that they'll come up and pray with me just already knowing what the situation is. And I like was thinking to myself today, it's okay to like have a hard moment, but just keep going forward. Because, like I said, bringing my pump everywhere is hard. I'm still very sore. But at the same time, I also looked at the positive part of it and looked at, I was able to go back to church. I was able to sing. Like there are positives, and I still want to look for that positive in the situation, like no matter what the situation is. But I also want to say that you also shouldn't discount the struggle, because it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to struggle, and it's okay to have a hard time, and it's okay to admit that you might need some encouragement. And that's kind of what I had on my mind. I feel like I'm handling the situation well. It is, like I said, a lot to deal with, but what I'm learning, and I'm healing from surgery, and just take it a day at a time. And just, I guess the point of this video is just to be honest even when it's hard, so that other people will know how to help you. Thank you to all of my subscribers for watching my videos. It's really nice that I get to share my life like this. Be sure to subscribe if you're new, hit the notification bell, and I will see y'all soon. Bye, everyone.